Previously on Roleplay Radio.
Do not fret. I am not here for you. I am here for one of your housemates.
Garrett Creek.
Ruined my reputation on day one.
I'll be sure he gets the message.
Rosamith and Bit will signal you over from the front.
Hi, I heard you were going to be in my class. I'm so excited. In our LARPing club, we actually study choreography, study all about different battle tactics, and you should come over, you should join.
Not much of a dancer.
But why are you in this class then?
Broadening my horizons.
Well, that's good. I hope you broaden them enough so that you can join our LARPing club.
You hear up right next door. Oh, books. And then the door opens and there's a bunch of smokes. It's Alexodon, Professor. Professor Collins.
Were we supposed to bring textbooks?
Yes, you were. Did you not?
I don't think I brought it to this class.
I don't think I... What? What is your name?
It's Koss.
Let me ask you something. Koss? You have a brain, yes?
I assume so, yeah.
Yeah. Is your brain there? And points at Shelly's head.
Shelly looks kind of brain dead.
Koss is very nervous about actually being in front of everybody on stage and stuff.
Their name is Koss. Koss. They don't like to be the same, and that's pretty lame.
Professor Blackstone will look at Koss and say, changeling, eh? Might want to consider a different attire next time, something a little more confident. It is the morning of Arcane Artifacts class.
Wait, can I establish something first?
Sure.
So the night before, Gary wanted to switch up, his spells and things that he could do. So among things that he does to prepare for this, he has to find some butter. Gary goes to the kitchenette, and he opens up, the cold box, and just, sees somebody else's butter. You can decide whose. It's probably labeled. And he's just gonna take, half a tablespoon of that. Heck, there might even be people in the common room, because he's just he's gonna notice. It's just a tiny bit of butter.
Actually, I was gonna say that if it's, somewhat late-ish night, then Koss might be in the kitchen, and they will be, sitting on a counter with a thing of cookies in their arm and just chomping on them. Good evening, Gary.
Oh, hi, Koss. Do you know whose butter this is?
Pretty sure that's Tobias's.
Think you'll mind if I take some?
It seems like you won't.
Alright, I'm gonna do it.
Did you have a good day?
Kind of. So I don't think Mistake likes me very much.
Maybe. She seems seems a bit rough around the edges, I guess.
I think that I'd probably upset her because I threw that book.
She also seems like she likes books.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have a good day.
No?
No, because this is the second time that I've been publicly shamed in class.
Oh. Well, fuck them.
Well, I would love to, except they're professors. Oh. Well, you know what I mean.
Hang on. I have something for you. Gary's going to use some cooking utensils to whip up a little liquid. You have something that I can borrow that you carry around?
Like a water skin?
That works.
Okay. He's
gonna take the liquid and pour it on the water skin. Then he's gonna whisper to it, "Fuck 'em." Alright, there you go. Now, when you tap this, it'll remind you to fuck 'em.
I will tap the water skin.
Fuck 'em.
Does it just say that?
It just says that.
Okay.
It's the Artificer level 1 magical tinkering thing.
Gotcha.
Around this time, Rosie walks in with her eyes, pretty much fully closed, She walks straight to the cold box, grabs milk, and just downs the whole thing. And then just goes, hi. And
Hello.
leaves.
Hi and bye.
And she just like face plants onto the couch.
So, what are you making?
Grease.
Like just grease?
Yep, just grease. I mean, I'm just saying, if we got attacked by a magical chest, it kind of seems like something like that might happen again. So, floor grease.
Alright, and where are you gonna make this?
Well, my room, mostly?
Okay, enjoy, I guess. I'll be down here with my fucking water skin and my cookies.
Sounds good. If you see Tobias, tell him I took his butter.
Alright.
So you all have arcane artifacts that morning. It's a busy morning at the tower. You are supposed to go to Lorehold campus. You are told to meet in front of a statue that is probably going to disappoint Griff or make him feel very self-conscious. The statue is a joint statue. It is two different people, two different Leonins, who we talked about in A History of Magic. It's a central area where a lot of students hang out, and so it's busy, it's bustling, it's first thing in the morning. But there's like maybe 30 of you that are specifically collected around this statue and sitting around there for arcane artifacts.
Rather than you tell me how I feel, I'm gonna roll for it.
Okay.
Constitution? Okay. It's a constitution roll.
It's your emotional maturity, right?
That's a 6 plus 3. That's a 9. The TM was correct. I feel overshadowed by the statues.
Possibly literally overshadowed.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
There's a lot of students that are already whispering and pointing and looking at you in your direction and just like, oh, look, that's great.
He goes to stand behind Shelly.
Oh, hi, Griff.
Hi.
Are you hiding? Mistake was doing that before.
Yes, I
Kind of the same way, but you're taller than me.
I was just trying to be out of direct eye shot, maybe.
Oh,
A lot of people staring.
you should see if Mistake wants to hide too. Mistake likes hiding.
This is a me thing at the moment.
Oh, okay.
We can maybe do that later.
Okay.
Right,
I wish I could hide you guys in my shell.
I don't.
Oh, okay.
Well said.
Right in front of like Shelly's nose is the name, like Yozik and Deandra Burning Hammer, with the date dating back to 700 years ago.
Is this your dad?
No. These are the first ones who came to the school. They talked about it yesterday.
The ones who got to see the dragon.
Yeah, those ones. The ones that I'm...
Like your dad.
Man. Yeah. Yep.
Wow, this is so cool. You're like famous.
I am... Where's the carriage?
Oh, I don't know. Where are we going?
There's a huge explosion in the distance. Fourth floor, you see a window opening and smoke just coming out.
Oh, terrific. He just runs towards it.
Wait for me. Shelly's gonna jaunt after you.
Does Mistake recognize the location of this?
You see the head of a Lexodon wearing goggles, coughing his lungs out of this window. Just takes the goggles off, and you just see the soot marks all over. And he looks down. Oh, bugger! I'm late. And he sends down a rope. Instead of heading back down the normal way, this Lexodon professor rappels down from his office. And you two are there to greet him?
I'll hold the rope in place.
Wow, that was so cool. Do you always walk around like that? Because I was thinking about doing that in my dorm room, because I'm on the top steps and it just takes me so long to walk down the stairs. And then Shelly's gonna hold up their large trunk-like hands and say, I just don't really have the dexterity for stairs, you know?
I would not recommend that, student. What's your name?
I'm Shelly.
Shh, Shelly. Well,
What's your name?
Professor,
Are you not a student?
Professor Quintorius Khan. Nice to make your acquaintance. Do you have a wet towel? Either one of you?
Shelly's gonna reach inside their body.
I will pass. Come on, let's just go. Are you Arcane Artifacts?
Yes.
Great, excellent, you'll love it. Let's go. And he just storms towards the statues.
Mistake has found a middling vantage point on the statues.
Okay.
Like, kind of climb up, like, halfway at best. Still trying to, like, not be noticeable, but also get a better view of what just happened. So, as ever they come back, she's gonna have to hop down, but...
So this professor heads towards you. He's dressed in a leather frock coat. He looks like he's ready to go dungeon delving. Like, he's got his utility belt. He's got a rucksack that looks like the size of your shell. It's huge. I mean, this professor's like 8 feet tall. And he greets you all. Welcome to Arcane Artifacts. My name is Professor Quintorius Kond. You may call me Professor Q, Professor Quint, Professor Kond. Call me whatever you want. Just don't be late to my class. There's so much to do. So, any hands out there who owns or possesses a arcane artifact of sorts? Anyone?
Shelly's gonna pull out a wet towel.
What does that do?
Oh, you wanted a wet towel?
I'm good. It came from within you.
Griff dry heaves.
Anyone else? No? Well...
Oh, wait! Shelly's gonna pull out the caterpillar cuddly. Is this arcane? It came out of the ground.
Oh, certainly. And he very carefully reaches for it and feels that it's not wet. Okay, it's fine. Yes, perfect example. And he puts it on his shoulder. It's like, by the end of this course, you will each... Well, it is my hope that you will each find your own arcane artifact, but if not, I will teach you to create one. Arcane artifacts have existed ever since the dawn of humanity. Hell, before the Dawning Age, when magic ran rampant, artifacts were possessed by magic themselves, and the very first arcane artifacts were mere stones, or plants, or tree trunks, but with, well, the humanoids came art, and with art, we were able to put magic into all sorts of things, whether it be a boot, a pair of glasses. He looks around you. What are you guys wearing that might stand out?
Gary's got an apron.
An apron that may never have stains on it. For example...
Griff, I've always imagined, just wears a tracksuit. like an Adidas tracksuit. It's like the tracksuit for Strixhaven.
A suit that will allow you to run upwards of 60 miles an hour.
I am okay.
Or perhaps a cloak that might turn you invisible. Whatever it may be. Artifacts are always out there. You might never know what is arcane and what is not. And it is my job to teach you to differentiate the two.
Professor Kond?
Yes?
Couldn't we just learn the detect magic spell and then, we'd know?
Ah, you may. However, what is your name, student?
Garrett Grigg Gary.
Garrett Grigg Gary.
Well, no, my full name is Garrett Grigg, but I go by Gary.
He didn't hear that part. He's already walking around, pacing. What Mr. Garrett Grigg Gary brings up is a great point. You might choose to cast a spell if you know how to. You might find yourself, well, this is one arcane artifact I can put in my pocket, but how do you know whether it is really a magic item or a cursed item? You might, set yourself up for trouble there, young Mr. Grigg Gary.
Mistake's gonna kind of mutter, identify? But too quiet for the professor to hear.
Very well. The reason I asked you all to meet me here today and on the lecture hall is because we are taking a little field trip. In order to learn about arcane artifacts, we must first read about them, yes? Anybody like reading as much as I do? Come on, don't be shy.
Mistake does not raise her hand.
He looks right at you. Well, I'm sure there's a few of you out there, but you might be feeling a bit shy this morning. After today, you will not be shy to admit that you like reading. follow me. We are going to the Scriptoria. And there's a flock of carriages that's already making their way into the scene. He prepared these carriages for today. And he starts motioning you guys towards the carriages. 4 to each carriage. Now, don't be stingy. Share with your classmates. There are 4 of you. Whether you choose to take different carriages is up to you. But yeah.
I think we somehow, by providence, end up in the same carriage,
Okay.
whether we want to be or not.
Nice.
Shelly will facilitate. Shelly will be like, "Oh, hi, Mystique.
Hello.
Griff and I are going in this carriage." And Shelly looks at Griff. Do you want to hang out?
Alright, I suppose.
Okay.
Griff just gets in.
Shelly's not going to invite Gary, though, because I don't think Shelly knows who Gary is, really.
I'm gonna say that Aurora, Tobias, Thorn, and Greta. I don't know if Thorn fits in a carriage.
No, he'll
maybe
walk.
they're magic. Okay.
He walks.
Well, anyways, he sees Greta get into like the other carriage with Croc Tower people, and he's like,
Hey, Gary, you want to come with us?
Shelly's going to peek their head out of their window and say, "We need another person."
"Oh, sorry, they need another person.
Well, so do we. Okay.
Bye."
I guess he's still mad at me, you guys.
I can join your carriage. Hi, I'm Ricard.
Oh, hey!
So I have the morning of 3rd day while everyone else is in Arcane Artifacts. Koss has their elective.
It's portrait painting.
Yes.
So, since it's an elective, we could just say that the first week, your job is to go buy supplies.
I would like to be the person who plays the model for the portrait class.
Okay.
Not Griff.
Just you, Tyler.
No, not me.
Tyler.
Like, oh, you want to be a
I want to be a character
that's
in
fine,
here.
That's fine.
Excuse me. What's your name? Tyler Rubin?
Canonized as the professional school model.
Meanwhile, back at the Croc Tower, how is Koss doing this morning?
Koss is trying to channel some fuck-em energy after Gary's advice, so they have spent some time to make sure that their hat perfectly covers up one of their eyes, because the other one is like a vibrant red, and their skin tone is this like dark mottled blackish purple that is very distinctively drow.
Oh, I love it.
They are going like very edgy right now. They are kind of like going through a bunch of their canvases that they've brought, both for the figure painting class and also as proofs of concept for the job interview that they're going to be going to.
Rosie is fast asleep on the couch with a cat on her belly. Something wakes her up. Maybe she just wakes up naturally. Maybe it's the cat. You know, maybe the cat wants to be fed, and she rubs her eyes and... Oh, geez, that's new.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, do you like it? It kind of seems like you don't like it.
You were more handsome before, when you were the elf or the dragonborn or...
I am still an elf.
Yeah, but you look like you want to hurt me with those red eyes. No offense.
I mean, hold on. And Koss will tip down the hat and then come back up with some, like, gentle green eyes instead.
Ah, green's my favorite color. Much better. So, I, might have been, like, half asleep, but... Were you stress eating last night?
A little bit, yeah. You were drinking a lot of milk, if I recall. I think you drank all of our milk.
Yeah, that's my stress eating go-to.
Why were you stressed?
Okay, I guess I need to open up to somebody. I am in a bit of a conundrum. I'm fighting with the Play Actors Drama Guild. A bunch of privileged arseholes. Well, you know how I'm in the live-action role-playing guild?
Yeah, I do.
Well, we've been trying to get to the role stage, but they don't let, I mean, well, first you have to know, I was here for summer school and I joined the live action role players guild, but they make us rehearse out in the yard, in the quads. You know, we deserve some stage time too. The Play Actors Drama Guild just kick us out. They treat us like what we do is not art. Well, I started the petition and it's getting lots of signatures. Here! And she hands you one. Would you like to sign?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know too much about the Play Actors Drama Guild. They seem interesting, but so this is your club. It's just if they're saying that what you're doing is not art, then that kind of seems wrong. Because as long as it brings you happiness in some way, then I guess it's kind of your art.
Exactly. Thank you. You get it. Anyway, what's wrong with you? Why were you looking like a constipated puppy last night?
Well, I was grumpy because I went to 3 classes, or 4 classes at this point, and 2 of them have involved me being publicly shamed in front of the class. And then there was a night when we all got here, and then I played a little song, and then people said that they didn't like it, and they were snickering and stuff like that.
That was you! I heard it, the one about making friends. Yeah, that was bold.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean...
I like to try to be bold.
Well, you know what? Be bold. That's right. When we meet up for the club, my favorite is to play monsters. Because I'm little, as you can see. But when I'm performing, I'm fierce. I will eat your ass like it's my last meal. I will chase your ass anywhere. I will tackle you to the ground and make you fear me. Because I'm fierce.
Well, you know what I think?
What?
I think you're already fierce. Based on that. I mean, I was kind of worried about my ass there for a second.
She's totally blushing and just trying to look away. Nice kitty. So, can I ask you something?
Aye?
You keep changing your appearance. But I want to know is, who are you?
I'm Koss.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm Rosie. But like, who are you?
Do you mean what do I actually look like?
No, I don't give 2 shits what you look like. Look, when I play a role, I play the role. But when I'm not playing the role, I know who I am. I'm Rosie. Fucking Rosie Miffin Bips What's Firlums. And, you know, if some asshole from the Play Actors Drama Guild tells me that my art is lesser, well then, I'm going to stand up to his arse. If a professor bullies you, what would Koss do?
I mean, Koss would go into the kitchen and then eat some cookies. I think is what I found out.
Well, why not do something about it?
Because they're professors, they can get me kicked out.
I mean...
What do you want me to do?
I want you to be the best Koss you can be.
I mean, I'm trying. That's part of why I came here, is because I wanted to try to find out who Koss actually was. And that's kind of why I keep on trying to try on these new appearances, because it's weird when you can look like whatever you want. You judge people on their appearances a little bit less, but you judge your own a lot more, because it's like there's no effort to change it. So you might as well try to find something that matches. And it kind of feels like a moving target, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what it's like to be a moving target. I played a moving target before. It was fucking hilarious.
Was it also a monster?
It was a monster. I was a mimic. Yes.
Ah, okay. Was it a mimic of a target?
Yes.
Okay, that's wonderful.
I ate the fucking arrows. It was great.
How do you do arrows?
What?
How do you do arrows?
Oh, they have a rubber at the end. They just stick.
Ah,
you know,
okay.
like the plunger?
Aye, yes.
I need to go shopping today for books. You want to come?
Sure. I'd love to come.
Great.
I've got to go and get some paints anyways, so...
Let's do it. Now, the class. You guys are heading to the Scriptoria. The Scriptoria is in the Biblioplex, as is the student store.
I see what you're doing here.
Now, the student store is right at the entrance to the left, but the Scriptoria, you have to head to the upper right-hand corner of the map to head down the stairwell. Along the way, Koss and Rosie, you guys have your little shopping list or whatever, and you see the carriages pulling up with Professor Quintorius Khan leading his students towards the Biblioplex, and you see your friends. Do you do anything, or just...
I'll wave.
Gary's gonna wave back extremely enthusiastically because I think he realized after the carriage ride with the other three that Koss is his only friend.
Oh. Gary will hear his own voice saying, "Fuck him!" in the distance.
Gary's very excited about that.
Some professors look over like, who said that?
Koss just, oh, what? And then looks away like nothing happens.
What was that?
Gift from a friend.
Interesting gift.
He's an interesting guy.
Shelley's gonna turn to Gary and say, "You're friends with Koss?"
Oh, he's from Ravnica. I'm from Ravnica.
Oh, okay. I love Koss.
What?
Well, that's great. They're great.
Yeah. Anyways, bye.
Oh, all right then.
And they continue walking next to each other.
So, we'll get back to you. The rest of you, you head down these stairs. A set of stairs that leads down to an underground hall of sorts. It looks very nice and well kept, albeit a bit dark. The torches along the walls can only do so much since the Scriptoria is entirely underground. It is right below the biblioplex. But it has the feel of a museum lobby. There's an information desk, there's all kinds of art on display along the walls, from paintings to sculptures, even live elementals that kind of hover over a base. All around these halls there are bookshelves, and there are clockwork servants shelving those books. And right across from you, at the very end of the hall, there's a massive set of doors. It's like the entrance to a castle. It's a massive, massive set of doors. They're wide open, as they usually are during the day, and you can see nothing but earth and rock up ahead, because there are more stairs that lead further down. Mistake especially, your ear catches the very familiar sound of moving water, being from Redfell. Right this way, everyone. Don't be shy, and Professor Quintorius Khan leads the way. As you head down that second set of stairs, you see a river. It's more or less the stairs end, and there's a little platform, and then there's a river there with boats lined up. And the boats are able to take several more students, maybe like up to 10 students per boat, depending on what race they are, because some are heavier. No offense to turtles and lexodons. I forgot to mention this before, but I think it's great that maybe he was late. Rampart arrives at the Scriptoria and speaks to Professor Khan. Says something that you probably can't hear unless you really try. You're gonna try. Perception? No. You don't hear it, but you get the sense that he's in this class. And Professor Khan's just like tapping his watch, like, don't be late again. And Rampart heads towards one of the boats. And it's gonna be the one that you guys are in. Alright, students. What you're about to see, if you've never seen it before, might be a bit overwhelming. But this is a perfectly safe space. And, well, if you get claustrophobic, or you just need a break, you just let me know, and I will take one of the boats back with you. Alright? Any questions?
What was your last name again?
Kand. K-A-N-D. It's not that hard.
Okay.
Professor Q, if you wish. That's usually the easiest.
Mistake is gonna kind of say under her breath, well, like, Professor explodes a lot.
So these canoes lead you down this cavernous path. You get away from the light, and when you go through this tunnel, everything is really, really dark for a bit. From one of the boats, some people who know how to cast the light spell cast light.
Mistake with dark vision will be annoyed.
Yeah, those who have dark vision are able to see more or less that this tunnel keeps going for almost 100 feet. And then eventually you hear the waters rustling more and more. And Professor Khan says, "Alright, brace yourselves, here it comes." These canoes head upwards a little for a few seconds, and then down this huge huge hill that just ends with a splash, sends mist all over your face. Some people get splashed with water and their laps and they're soaked. You hear a lot of groans from some of the students, and the professor's just like, oh, it feels good to be clean.
I hid behind Shelly.
Shelly just doesn't care.
Because it sounds interesting, I'm gonna say Mistake is like on one of the outer edges, and is, despite being able to see, is still a little surprised by the sudden dip. So she's going to like grab onto the side and also grab onto something on the other side, and because it's funny, I want to say she ends up like grabbing Gary's hand, not realizing it. Because he just happens to be the person next to her, so she goes to like brace herself and accidentally braces on him.
Gary is just very surprised and doesn't say anything.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Chipping it.
There's a little bit more light now, and as the light catches on the boats, you just see Toby holding on to one of Shelly's stumps. Shaking violently.
Are you okay, friend?
No.
Okay, well, I'll hold you close. And then Shelly pulls Tobias to the belly.
Oh, light. Great. Okay, that's better. Mistake probably freaks out the most at this, but you emerge into this massive cave network. But you start seeing bookshelves. There are rivers heading all over the place. You see all these canoes in the distance, and all these different paths you can take, and in every single path there's a platform or two where you can get off. You see statues of famous people from Strixhaven, old professors, alumni, but you also see desks and chairs. This is also a place where students go to study. You will even see a few students from the higher years here, already, diving into their studies for this year. And you keep heading further down this river path until eventually you reach one of the grandest looking rooms, which is basically a grand hall full of water where you can get off anywhere along the edge, and all the boats from Professor Khan's class kind of dock.
I have a thing that I would like to do.
Okay.
So as everyone is getting off of the boat, Gary trips, and his little vial that he made of grease falls onto the ground and shatters. So everyone getting off the boat, please make a dexterity saving throw. And I assume Toby and Rampart were also in our boat, so they need to do it too.
I'm gonna borrow your dice, Michael.
Go for it.
Oh.
So Rampart walks over it like it's nothing. Amateurs. And then Toby, he cannot move from the same spot. He just keeps tripping. Oh, sorry. He gets up, and he trips backwards.
What did Rampart roll?
19.
So Shelly sees Tobias trip and is just like, Tobias! And then falls face first.
On top of him.
My suggestion, which you are free to veto, is this is like the anime style fall where you carefully fall on top of the other person and you just have this moment where you're looking deep into each other's eyes.
And he says, this is how we met, but backwards.
Shelly says, yeah! And then tries to get up.
And then falls on top of him again.
But yeah, Shelly has a -1 dex and rolled a 3.
How's the other two?
18.
Ultimately, I think I got a 12, which is 1 too low to save. So I think Mistake almost makes it, but then trips over someone else.
I want to say that that's Gary, because he tripped, dropped the grease, and then fell over in his own grease.
Oh boy. You hear a whistle, and the professor calls over clockwork servants to start cleaning up the grease.
Sorry!
Shelly takes out a wet rag and wipes off the grease from their feet and hands and
Griff dry hooves.
and Shelly goes, "What? It's from the river."
Mistake will actually go to the river, and she's still wearing the gloves, like the hand warmer kind of things that she got from the store during the scavenger hunt. And those are probably covered in grease now. So she's gonna go over to the river and take them off and wash them, and then put them back on to cover the scars she has on the back of her hands.
A clockwork servant rolls up to you, holds out its mechanical arms. You look like you need help.
For what? You want my gloves?
Yes.
Alright. The now wet and greasy gloves?
It holds them for a few seconds, and then you just hear as mist starts radiating from your gloves. All dry. And hands them back to you.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Did you find 4803?
I did, thank you.
Great. Glad to be of service.
I'll be slightly confused and put the gloves back on.
So, Professor Khan will announce to the class, this here is the section specifically on arcane artifacts. Your first assignment for this class will take place over the next week or so. You will pick a famous arcane artifact from history and write a report on it, no less than 5 pages, thank you, you are in university after all. And the more pages, the better. In fact, the more pages, the more likely I am to read it. You may spend at least an hour or two here, after which I must take you back to Lorehold campus. So do not get lost, do not wander off too far. People have gotten lost here, and it took weeks to find them.
Shelly's gonna raise their hand.
Yes.
Can I have my stuffy back?
What's stuffy?
My caterpillar? And points to their shoulder.
Oh, I didn't realize I still had it.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Wait, what's magic about it, by the way?
Well, it gives you courage, some say. I think it's a placebo.
Oh, okay. Shelly's gonna put it on Tobias.
Oh, thank you.
Do you feel courage?
I feel courage when I'm with you.
Aww. Shelly's gonna take the stuffed animal back and say, "Me too, Tobias."
What do the rest of you do?
Books.
Books!
Mistake has one very pressing question of how do the books stay in the right condition? It's so damp here. They do better where it's dry.
Well, the clockwork servants take care of that.
They dry the books.
Well, that is part of their job, yes.
Couldn't you just store the books somewhere less wet?
Well, the humidity doesn't do that much damage. Excuse me. I need a break. And he heads out towards the boats. Garrett and Griff, anything?
So Gary is not looking for anything, like, specific, but, you know, is pretty interested. So he kind of is, like, doing a meander, pulling out, like, occasional titles, like, ooh, what's this?
You want to roll me a D100?
Absolutely. 93.
Ooh, nice.
Is it?
Maybe.
You rolled a 93.
I rolled a 93.
You pick up a book from the shelf, and you get Artifacts of Barovia.
Oh shit.
So this is that vampire place.
You hear a deep, rumbling voice behind you. Yes, little one. It is in fact a vampire place.
He's gonna turn around.
You see a big old Lexodon face and a shimmering light that kind of flickers in your eye from his armor. And Rampart is like, but there are worse horrors in Barovia that you can't even imagine. Horrors that would eat you up in your sleep.
Oh, like this, he's just gonna flip to a random, like, artifacts in Barovia page.
It's a crossbow that has silver bolts.
Like this silver bolted crossbow?
That might save you from a werewolf, but only if you're fast enough. And if your aim is good. Is it good?
No. Not...
He's throws smoke in your face.
I really don't understand what your problem is with me. I already apologized and said that I didn't do anything to actually intentionally mess with you.
Now there are dragons guard outside of my tower because of you.
Alright, that really doesn't feel like because of me. that feels like it's because you're the one using things you're not supposed to be using on campus.
No, the dragons guard are outside of everyone's towers because you and your friends decided to have a brawl in the middle of your common room.
Alright, that's definitely not my fault, because, again, our uniform chest came to life.
Yes, we've heard it all.
With some kind of thing I forgot the name of right now.
Every now and then, Garrett notices that Rampart looks over at Griff like he's a little intimidated by him and is mostly making sure that Griff is not looking. Meanwhile, Koss is going shopping with Rosie. How's that going?
No, I think it's going pretty well.
Yeah?
Assuming that we found the books and paints that we needed.
Rosie buys her books and then she also buys some cloth and she shows it to you. Look, might make a good dress, right? I've never played a princess. It's kind of boring to me, but like someday.
I think so. Do you sew?
No. Do you?
No, I never actually tried it, but it's something I wanted to try.
Do you want to try together? Look, they sell needles.
Aye, yeah, sure.
And she picks up some needles.
I kind of thought that a figure painting class would be a bit more, what's the word? Involved on the first day, but I guess they just kind of are stalling for time by getting us to buy things instead.
Yeah, between you and me, I think they make us buy shit on the first week just because they need money.
No, that's definitely what's happening.
I think so too. When you say you had a job interview, where are you applying?
It's with SPAS, the Strixhaven Performing Arts Society.
I've never heard anyone call it SPAS before. I love it. Good luck, because you have to interview with Professor Zafai. Have you ever met Professor Zafai?
No, I haven't. Are they mean? Are they going to publicly shame me?
What time's your interview?
I think it's later today.
Let me walk you.
Okay.
On the way, she tells you, Professor Zafai does not play around. He is in charge of the band association, and, well, let me tell you, he fits the stereotype of that aggressive band instructor. My God, they don't call him the Thunder Constructor for no reason, you know?
Like in that old story, Whiplash.
Yeah, I fucking love that story. You know, you have really good taste.
I've heard a lot of stories, you know.
Me too.
It's kind of part of the whole, you know, I want to be a bard training. It's you gotta like learn your stories and learn about the different kind of narrative structures and stuff like that.
I want to be a bard too, but I want to perform in grandiose plays and you know, it's my dream, but the Play Actors Drama Guild is so bureaucratic.
Hey, well, I mean, it sounds fun. I don't know if I could quite make things work on stage, but it sounds fun.
Yeah, if only had a few less arseholes like Quintilius in it.
Was he the guy who's kind of racist?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm glad I'm not the only person who got that vibe.
I hate that guy. I think he just looks down on anyone who isn't human.
Why is it always a human thing?
I don't know.
Well, anything I should know about the professor? Things that I should avoid saying?
He is very angry all the time.
Okay.
But there's nothing he respects more than honesty.
Honesty, yeah. I can do honesty.
Yeah.
I'm good at that.
Yeah?
Well, pretty good at that. I've gotten pretty good at not being honest also, but not by choice.
You're funny, Koss. You're a weird one, but in a good way. All my LARPers are weird.
All of my friends are weird too, so...
And you see a couple of them in the distance. You see mostly like gnomes, halflings, and then a few elves in there. There's like somebody's tuning a lute. Somebody's got like a hand drum, and then others are like putting on makeup on each other. And she's just like, well, you say later today you want to hang out with my friends?
I guess I've got the time. Sure.
Great. Everybody, this is Koss. Are you still a draw?
Yes, I am still
Okay.
a drow, just with kind eyes.
Anything else happens during this Arcane Artifacts class?
I would like to use my researcher feat.
Tell me more.
I think it might be relevant here. So if my paraphrase version is, if I don't know the answer, I know where to find it. So we are meant to be researching stuff for this paper we're supposed to be writing. So I want to know where to find the information I need to write this.
Okay. Is there a role involved?
No, it's just it's a feat from my background.
Okay, I got something.
Okay.
You see a book that stands out to you. It is brown leather with golden letters. And it says, The Brilliant Inventions of Arcadius. Magical inventions from this continent. You can't quite get to it because there's a massive Lexodon in the way, who's also looking at books. He's not looking at that one, but he's right in front of it, and he's looking at the shelf right below it. How do you proceed?
Going to patiently wait for, a minute or two.
He's looking at a book and just standing very annoyingly in front of the shelf. And he's flipping through pages.
Sorry, could I just... There's just a book I need to get, if you don't mind.
I want to say it's like 3 feet above your reach. Which one?
It's the one on the Inventions of Arcadius up there.
He closes his own book, puts it back on the shelf, and then reaches for the Inventions of Arcadius book. Looks at it before giving it to you. Looks like it's the only copy. He looks at you for a second and he squints and he says, You're from Crocked Tower, right?
Why does that matter?
Are you friends with that burning hammer?
I'm not friends with most people, if I'm honest.
Are you acquaintance with that burning hammer?
In the sense that we live in the same tower, why does this matter?
Because it does. Now, I will give you this book. And he kind of hands it over to you, but then, holds it in midair, kind of slightly out of your reach. I would be careful with that one. I do not know him personally that well, but if he's anything like his family, particularly his uncle, then I would stay as far away from him as I can. You will only find trouble. And he hands you the book.
I'll take it, just say, well, considering how much taller he is than me, it's easy to stay away from him.
You keep doing that.
Just gonna kind of back away, make a mental note of who this person is.
You're gonna back up into Shelly.
Just sort of be startled and be like, sorry.
Oh, hi, Mystic. I need your help.
With what?
I can't get the books off the shelf because they're too densely packed.
Right.
And I know that you really like books.
Which one do you need?
I don't know. I also don't know that.
Alright.
Can you help me, please? Sorry to interrupt. And Shelly waves at the Lexodon. Like, you're very intimidating. Good job. And then, and then like goes around and blocks the view of Mistake. Just like, where do we go?
Well, let's find out, shall we?
Okay.
Mistake is going to assist in helping Shelly find books for research.
Okay. You're gonna use your feet to assist Shelly?
I mean, I can. I don't think there's any restriction on how frequently I can use it.
This is an awesome feat for this campaign.
Yeah.
That's the homework feat.
Yeah, seriously.
But yep, no, Mistake is going to make a mental note of Rampart and categorize him in her head as fuckface. So it's like she already didn't like him and now she super doesn't like him. And we'll probably talk to Griff later, but not here, because she doesn't want to antagonize Rampart.
The book that you helped Shelly find is Nocturnal Crystals, an abridgment of Ravnica's Crystal Encyclopedias. And it's all about, like, it's got luck stones in it, bad luck stones, yeah, all sorts of gems, but some of them that have magical components.
I love crystals like me, so like this is exciting.
This is a random choice that I made, so I'm glad I did it.
Gary, after Rampart has like walked away, suddenly just goes, Eldritch Bomb, that's what it was! And then still looks around. And then he's gonna continue looking at books, but now with a focus of like, oh yeah, Eldritch Bomb was a thing.
Griff is looking for artifacts, not necessarily, well, he's looking for artifacts about Luxodons. He wants to know what's important to Luxodons.
Okay.
Hello.
And he wants to find artifacts about it, not for necessarily his own edification, but to exploit Rampart.
You know, at least based on, because this is a rival family,
Yeah.
you know that there's definitely some artifacts from a lost city, a lost Lexodon city. Professor Quintorius Kond is actually known for discovering this lost city and its ruins. And that's how he got a job in the first place at the university. So I want to say that Griff is like maybe looking for this.
Cool.
And what you find is a book called Guidebook to Aquatic Flora.
Guidebook to Aquatic Flora.
And the reason the Lexodon city was lost is because it was completely submerged in water. So when it was found by Professor Quintorius Kond, it was completely underwater. It was riddled with merfolk living there, and then tritons and all sorts of aquatic creatures. Yeah.
The humans call it Atlantis.
Oh.
And there was all sorts of like magical flora there, but Lexodons like are a little resentful almost towards like
They're mad at flowers?
I'm sorry, that was bad. That was
like if I wear a corsage, they're gonna be like, fuck you.
It needs to be a corsage inside of a little fish-like bowl.
Yeah, it needs to be like a coral corsage.
What I'm saying is Lexodons used to be just as important as humans and owlins as far as like races go. They were a powerful race. They had a whole city to themselves, and that city was lost. And even just looking at a underwater plant that was found in this city, it stings because it reminds them of how much more powerful they used to be, and now they're
What's the most popular, whatever the most popular...
Make one up.
Yeah, it's probably like lily pad or something, because those things are just, because what those things do is when they open up, they drown out everything else.
Oh,
Ferriligu.
That sounds weird, but I don't hate it.
Would anybody like to do anything else before the class?
Luxapads, because they're like
Luxapads, yes!
Luxapads, because they're like elephant ears.
I think by the end of the couple hours, Mistake is in like a study carrel with like multiple stacks of books.
And Shelly's next to Mistake with just the one.
Before class ends, you all head back towards the boats, and Professor Kond will stand at the platform right in front of his whole class, and he says, "Well, I hope you've used your time in a productive manner. I will not be disappointed no matter what it is you decide to write about.
Found this book.
Oh,
I think you did something about this, right?
yeah, actually, yes, I know a thing or two. He has this sort of longing look, like looking back on better days. Back when he was a young, fit Lexidon. Well, it is my hope that by the end of this course, you will grow to appreciate arcane artifacts as much as I do. Hell, an arcane artifact can be as simple as a pipe, as a cloak. I've made my point in the beginning of class and I'll make it again. An arcane artifact might be around you and you might never know it. Unless, of course, like Mr. Gary over here, you have the Detect magic spell. Thank you. What was your name?
Mistake is deeply regretting having said anything. Mistake.
Mistake. Have you considered changing your name? It's very sad.
I did change it.
Oh? Well, then more power to you. Anyway, 300 years ago, there was a student here who was so into arcane artifacts that she learned how to enchant her own books so that she may jump into them. How I wish I could have had the pleasure of teaching that student. But that was in the past, and Rose is long gone. So,
Mistake will mutter, and then she disappeared.
hang on. Let me see if he heard that.
Got big elephant ears.
Yeah, he heard that. And then she died, you mean. Very sad. Very, very, very sad tale. Perhaps someday one of you might be the next Rose Pentagon.
So one of us is gonna die.
All
No,
of us
I-
are going to die.
I did
I'm
not.
gonna die?
I did not mean it that way. Please, no existential crisis in my classroom. Thank you very much. Let's head to the boats.
Some random kid goes, I'm gonna die!
To the boats. To the boats.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us again this week. This episode was recorded in Watertown, Massachusetts, also known as the traditional land of the Pecosset and Nanantum peoples. I'd like to give a huge thank you to all of the talented musicians that helped bring this podcast to life with their amazing music. We've provided a link to their web pages in the description.